question as part of the little series of questions I asked on my Instagram. So the question is, what is a deal breaker for you when getting to know someone? So both men and women both gave me their answers, and I'm just gonna read them all, and we'll just kind of like, if you want to interject into like, if you feel like that's something for you too, we can talk about it and branch off. So the first one is AC temp is a deal breaker for them.
What is?
The temperature. I feel like that's not a deal breaker for me.
It's not. As long as it's not hot, it's cool. I'd rather the house be super cold than hot.
I'd rather be hot, but I can handle if the person wants to be cold like at night. I'll just have to cuddle with them and they'll just have to compromise.
Yeah, so that's not a bad, like, it's not a deal breaker for me.
Another one, somebody said control freak. Yeah.
That's kind of a deal breaker.
Another one, somebody said uncleanliness and disrespect to others, lack of energy.
Let's start with the cleanliness. That's a big thing. Starting with hygiene, should shower once a day, at least twice a day. Disrespect to others. Just have respect. You don't gotta, like I was telling my sister the other day, you don't gotta respect everybody initially, but there are those common courtesies that you can project that's not disrespect. Treat everybody with the common decencies that you would anybody. So
yeah, and I feel like an example that I see a lot of people use is like, let's say you go out to a restaurant and you're just rude to the
right.
waitress or waiter. You know, a lot of people will look at that like
yeah.
why are you rude to them? The other was lack of energy.
Yeah, stop being lackadaisical in your efforts.
Lackadaisical, y'all. Another person said if we can have open communication or not. That was a big one for me.
Yeah.
That's a deal breaker for me.
Right.
Because if I can't communicate with you, we don't need to be together, because every relationship is gonna have some type of problem come up and you're gonna need to talk about it. And if I'm able to talk about it and you're not able to communicate with me, it's like, how are we ever gonna fix something if I'm the only one who is like willing to communicate that, like, hey, this is a problem, I think maybe this could fix it, or how do you think it could be fixed? And you don't want to put your input or effort into that, your side of it.
I'm gonna say this too, withholding information is also equivalent to lying. So you don't want to not be saying nothing, and you don't want to not be saying something that you know.
I like that you added that in, yeah. This one says no ambition, no job.
You gotta have motivation, bro. We gotta get money. We all gotta get rich. Like, it's the perfect time, you know. Every black business I know is booming right now. You gotta be motivated to do something, bro. We getting older, not younger. We gotta make a way.
He says if they smoke, we can't date.
Smoke cigarettes? Yeah, you can't smoke cigarettes. You can smoke.
I know him personally, so I know he means like in general, any type of smoking. But yeah, cigarettes, yeah, no cigarettes.
Cigarettes, no person born in 1994 and beyond should be smoking cigarettes. I'm not gonna speak on people before me, because they don't got nothing to do with me. But cigarettes are off limits. I don't care if a girl smoke her weed, do her edibles, and all that shit. But smoking hookah is almost off limits too.
I would say for me, yeah, cigarettes off. I know some people who do smoke hookah. Obviously, they're not doing it like every day, but they might, you know, just do sometimes. I personally would still rather somebody not be smoking hookah. I can handle you smoking weed as long as you aren't like smoking weed like 24/7 throughout the day, like like yeah. If you just are high like all the time, like no. Like if you're like, okay, I might have like a J this, you know, in the morning, I might have a J at night. Let's say maybe you have like 3 in a day or something. Okay, but if you having like 10 in a day and you're just high all day, like no. Yeah. This says that they lie for no reason. I feel that. Especially if you lie about small stuff, because I feel like if you lie about small stuff, you for sure gonna lie about something big.
Hell yeah. And just like I said, like not saying nothing is also like lying. Like if you know that, if you know something not right, and you know this happened or this happened, that's equivalent to lying. So you gotta talk, you gotta have communication.
Yeah.
And you shouldn't have to beg somebody to communicate. You shouldn't have to. Like it's not right.
Yeah. This one says children. That's not a deal breaker for me. It depends on the situation.
I feel like at this age, possibly children might come in like automatically, but I prefer both parties to be no kids.
I would prefer no kids. I've been in a relationship with somebody who had a kid and it was fine. The biggest thing for me as to why I wouldn't want to date somebody with a kid is I know, like, right now I'm in Seattle. If, let's say I start dating somebody here, they got a kid and the whole family's here, I do not plan on staying in Seattle. I want to move. So if I'm with somebody, you know, obviously if we're serious, I would be like, hey, you know, would you be willing to move? Like, if I'm trying to move and if they have a kid here, that might hinder them from being able to do that.
And it's just an experience too. Like, I want both of us to be first time parents.
Yeah.
Cause you know, I want us both to be coming from a place of learning.
Yeah.
Not one person knowing everything and the other person not knowing nothing.
She said someone who isn't real with themselves and or stubborn to the truth.
That's just called being ignorant. So I don't like ignorant people.
Negativity, for sure. If you're just always negative, I feel like I'm a pretty positive person, so I can't be around somebody who's just like constantly negative, like about everything. Especially if it's about stuff I'm doing, like that I'm happy about, and you're negative, like that's not gonna work. It says bad breath and thinking I have to pay for everything because I'm the man.
I keep a bottle of Listerine in my car. Oral hygiene is key. Like the same way as keeping your nails clean. Males, go get pedicures. Go get your feet did. Small things like that. Cause you can't be putting your hands on girls with dirty nails.
Did you just go?
Yeah.
Did you tweet? I feel like I saw you tweet about going.
Yeah,
and one of my friends, he does it too. Like he goes too.
Yeah, I be in the nail salon full of women. Only man. You gotta do it. And what's the other parts?
Thinking I have to pay for everything because I'm the man.
I feel
Yeah.
I definitely be feeling like I be having to pay everything because I'm the man, but it was that was my question. Splitting bills if you living with somebody. Cause I know you.
I agree with splitting bills. I've always split bills. Well, no, I take that back. With the last person I lived with, we did split everything. But in my first relationship with the guy that I was with for the longest, like almost 5 years, when we moved to Texas, like we were on the same phone plan. I paid my half of like my phone and he paid his. But when we moved to Texas and we got an apartment and stuff, he paid for the rent and like the water, electric, and I just had to pay for like the internet and cable. That was like the only thing that I had to pay. But also at the same time, like he didn't have a problem paying the other stuff because he had a really good paying job. But also when we first moved to Texas, I wasn't working. I only had like my savings from the job that I had right before I moved. And so he just wasn't tripping off that. He wasn't one of those guys who was like, you gotta be, like I didn't have to really have that discussion, like, am I gonna be having to pay half of this? He just did it. And I just felt like I don't want him having to pay for everything, so I offered to pay like the internet and cable. So
I feel like bills should be split if it's a 2-income household. That's just bottom line, cause it's an old like thought of mine, cause like grandparents, like our parents, like usually it's a 1-income household, and now everybody getting degrees, getting these jobs, so
yeah,
like
you should both be able to contribute.
Yeah, like I shouldn't be stuck paying your car note that you decided to have. Like I just feel like it's not fair.
But also at the same time, you know, if y'all are with somebody who doesn't mind, then okay, that's cool. But you know, if somebody is wanting to do that, I don't think you should look at them any type of way like, oh, why are you in the split bills? Like, you know, like you should just, even with going on dates, like even with the dude I used to date, sometimes we would go out and I would just offer to pay because I knew most of the time he was paying just because like he just would do it, you know? And sometimes I would just feel like, man, like we've done a lot of stuff this week. Like let me pay something, you know, because he's paid a lot. So even
and
that,
I'm telling you, that's very appreciated. Like if a girl do that, that's very appreciated.
Yeah, and I do that with one of my friends here. Like every time we go out, he usually pays for everything, and so sometimes I'll be like, I'll go ahead and pay for like our food or whatever, cause like even though we're not like together, we're just friends, I still feel that same way. Like I don't know, I think it's another Southern thing. I don't know if that's another Southern thing. Like
it might be.
We just like we don't want to feel like somebody is doing too much for us and we're not doing nothing.
Right.
You know, I don't know.
That's definitely being from the South. So, like, just, you know, I don't have no problem paying bills, like, dates and all that. But, like, just that one time you might say, I got this. On, like, 2 shots of tequila or something like that. Or dinner. You know, that's gonna,
They gonna remember that.
Yeah, that's gonna see.
She says talking bad about someone and being nice to their face, like being fake.
Don't be fake. Don't be two-faced. Don't have the mask on that you feeling them, and under the mask you hate their guts. Do not do that.
Yeah, and I think too, I think she also meant like it with other people. Like if I'm with a dude, I wouldn't want a dude who has to act fake. Like if you feel like you don't like somebody because of something, like stand on it. Because if you see that person, you act all nice, I'm gonna be like, you can't stand on like how you feel.
I recently had this thought. There's no such thing as a fake person. It's no such thing. That's just a person truly like feelings, true way of life. Like it's no such thing.
What do you mean, like?
Like you can't be fake, because if you fake, that's just an extension of your personality.
So you're saying like they're just being how they normally are. Yeah. We see it as fake. We thinking like
that's just their normal way of life.
Okay. This dude said bad attitude and trash text back etiquette. The text back etiquette, I can agree. I can agree with it. I don't know if I would say that's a deal breaker. It's a deal breaker if that's the only way we can communicate at the time.
If she got an Apple Watch, she saw your text, she not replying to you, move on.
You know what? And homeboy had
Yes, or he. Yeah, this work both ways. If they got an Apple Watch, they saw your text, move on. They on to the next.
Yeah.
You should be too.
Don't ever believe somebody who's like, I just didn't see it and it's been like a whole day or something. They're like, I never saw your text. Like, no.
Yeah,
you saw it.
Like, I'm telling you.
Some way, because there's you see the little red thing.
People got MacBooks that text go straight to their MacBook, Apple Watches, alerts on their car.
Yeah.
All this. Like, your text was seen. They just not replying to you. So, try not to double text and don't call.
She said finding out they be acting mad different around other people than they are with you. That's not a deal breaker, because I would expect, like if I'm dating a dude, I wouldn't expect him to act the way he acts with me with his boys, you know? Right. Like,
you don't want to be treated like the homie.
Yeah.
To an extent, but like.
Yeah, to an extent, but not like.
It's not a deal breaker. I'm gonna be a different way around you than I am gonna be around like friends and stuff, even like other homegirls and stuff like that.
Yeah, in that case, like when you mention like another girl, like if they're being more, let's say like affection or something towards like another girl than they are with you, then yeah, that of course is like what?
That's a call for concern.
But just in general, like, you know, I wouldn't say that's like a deal breaker if they're acting like different around, like let's say if they're guys or their family or something.
Facts.
She said being too clingy and possessive.
That's to each his own, cause
some people like that.
You know, girls be like, I want a dude that's gonna apply pressure, you know, do this and this. But if it ain't the dude she want, that's gonna come off as being clingy, being doing too much and all that stuff. So it's a playing field. You just gotta, you gotta know your opponent. I say you gotta know what you're going against. You gotta fill out the territory. Don't just go in blind and you won't get your feelings hurt when she hit you with you doing too much.
Yeah. Yeah, and I agree with like he said, like if you're the right person, a girl will deal with a lot. Yeah. If you're the right person. Now, if you're the wrong person, then that's when you're gonna get the like, okay, you doing this, and this. So if you getting that, then you know what that means. Yep. Sorry, you might as well go ahead in that situation. He said defensiveness. I think I wouldn't say that's a deal breaker. It would only be a deal breaker if it's like a consistent thing. Like if you feel like you have to be defensive, like with every single thing I might say or do.
Like if I'm asking, like if you ask me where I'm at and I'm like out the gate come out, why you asking me that? Like yeah, that's not cool. Defensiveness is not cool, because that means to be defensive, that means you gotta be on offense too, and that means you doing something you ain't got no business doing.
That's another little red. That's just like a red flag too, just like. Because it could escalate, I guess, for sure. She said arrogance. Yeah, I don't like anybody who's arrogant. Confident, but not arrogant.
Yeah, I'm about to say, like, confidence is cool. Arrogant is just being an asshole.
not educated?
It depends on what you call educated. If you want education on paperwork, or just a person who's generally well-rounded, because you can be educated without having the degrees and all this stuff. And some people just can't get to that point yet, and they might want it later in life. Don't just look at it at a standpoint of like university or being educated on paperwork, because maybe that person got the tech skills, a lot of the stuff nowadays you don't even need a degree for and stuff like that. So don't cancel it out. That person might be a welder or something, make it bank.
He said being basic. That's not a deal breaker. Some people just aren't like, their personality is just not to be doing all the extra stuff. Like
I don't like outlandish personalities. In terms of everything, like personality, like clothes. I'm pretty simple when I dress. Being basic, not a deal breaker.
He said consistency and personality, transparency, and someone to grow with. Consistency and personality for sure. Because I hate when people switch up. Like, especially if we start off a relationship and you tell me you do this, and this, and you've been consistent and you switch that up, I don't like that at all.
And all it do, it gotta happen one time.
Exactly.
One time.
The first time you do it, I'm like,
right.
Someone to grow with, for sure. Because like, why be with somebody if you don't see yourself being with them?
The goal, like especially like at our age, like you looking for somebody to be with now, because we're not getting younger. It's and there ain't too many options out here for real. So
she said when you talk about yourself all the damn time.
Yeah, like like on the first date, like don't talk about yourself the whole time. Like you gotta let the other person get in on some stuff. You gotta ask the other person questions. Although it's not an interrogation. Remember that a date is not an interrogation. A date is a date.
He said being ratchet.
I'm from Louisiana. I love a little ratchet shit. Like, ain't nothing wrong with being ratchet. Like, people that gentrify being ratchet, that's why it's a problem these days. Like, ain't nothing wrong with a little, I don't even know what y'all consider ratchet. Like,
I feel like, okay, and I'm gonna say this came from a white person. So I feel like when it comes to a black person, like what other people consider ratchet, we think it's just like
normal behavior.
Yeah, it's like normal. We're used to that because
Yeah, like we cut up.
Yeah, so like I won't say being ratchet for mine because.
Yeah, that's not a deal breaker. That's just the culture.
It's a deal breaker for non-black people.
Yeah, like shit. You can't deal with a girl being ratchet, don't date her.
Yeah, simple.
If you can't handle your girl being on IG, getting turned up, or taking shots in the club, don't date her.
Yeah.
She can still have fun. She coming home to you.
I think the only thing, maybe like what he could have been meaning in his term of ratchet, maybe was just like the being loud thing. I feel like when people think of being ratchet, that's what they mean. It's like just somebody being like loud.
I don't even.
But
it depends on what you get loud about. Like,
yeah. If you got like just arguing with people like all the time, like about to get like, okay, that's kind of ratchet. I wouldn't want somebody who's always trying to fight people. If there's a reason.
It's not a deal breaker.
There's a reason,
It's always a reason.
A good reason.
Black women hardly ever do stuff unprovoked. So.
Yeah, that's true. She said them not caring about the planet or animals.
You gotta care about the planet. Stop throwing plastic on the ground. Reuse your.
I hate when people throw trash out the window.
Reuse your stuff. I just ate a bowl of, what was it, fried rice?
Fried rice, and I keep the bowls.
Yeah, she gonna reuse the bowl. So,
yeah.
Always remove your footprint from the ground. And what was the
caring about animals.
Yeah. I love animals. I got on my cheetah print shorts. Like, animals are essential. Like, I love animals. What's your favorite animal?
My favorite animal is a wolf. And a kangaroo.
Okay. I like wolves. I actually want to pet wolves. My favorite animal is the jaguar.
The jaguar?
Probably the jaguar, or I also like elephants.
Are Alright everybody, so we just went through, you know, the deal breakers that everybody, both men and women, kind of had when it comes to relationships. You know, let us know below if there's anything that we didn't say that is a deal breaker for you, or if you agree with any of the things, like what we said and how we discussed it. Just let us know, because we want to know, like, there might be some things that we never really thought about that some people really care about when it comes to a relationship. We hope y'all enjoyed this video. Make sure you click the little bell for the notification so you know when the next video is uploaded. Subscribe and like the video. Follow us on our socials. I'll put them here on the screen somewhere. And we'll see y'all in the next video.